Bienvenidos, damas y caballeros, a esta la tercera edición de los Grabs Reales, aquí con Oscar Garza, también conocido como El Streaker, también conocido como el Chubby Uncle Juan. ¿Cómo estás, Oscar? Wait.
Yeah. Shh. Yeah. I'm doing as good. You stopped it. I just did my Tamatanga.
No, I didn't stop it. I hit the SAP button like that one bit.
Oh, I ruined your bit.
Nah, you're good.
In that case, I was Tongaloa.
Dude, welcome everybody to the Real Scraps podcast. So, Tongaloa, like, you gotta watch his fucking beatdowns. He's got the funniest beatdowns, man. Like, that guy, like, does the least amount of shit, unless they, like, you know, they give him a directive, and then once they do give him a directive, he always fucks it up. I don't know if you've noticed that. Have you seen that shit? Like, have you watched him during the beatdowns?
Yeah, it's definitely by design.
Yeah,
they have his character down solid.
It's
unfortunately, people who don't look too far into it just label it under botchamania, but
yeah, but
he's doing his thing.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious, man. Like he'll grab a dude like by the scruff and just like kind of shake him a little bit, and then like kind of like not even punch him, but then like someone does a surprise entrance, and then he looks over. It's the funniest
like,
shit.
Beat him down, and he's like shaking baby syndrome.
Yeah. He also had that one thing where I don't know if it was a WWE camera or a fan cam, but I think it was when Roman came back or something. But he was like stumbling like back and everything, and then he did like a little flip, did like a little somersault, and then a fan was like helping him up. It was super goofy, but it wasn't on camera like on the live feed, but someone recorded that shit. Yeah, it was fucking hilarious, but but anyway, that feral man. So I guess we'll start with that. You've been watching much SmackDown, or did you catch up on that? We had technical difficulties over the weekend, but
I caught up. Things are, I don't want to say they're coasting, but we're in the middle of, they're way, there wasn't like a whole lot of advancement in certain stories, but it's still good stuff that they're getting at. They're just kind of reinforcing what the stories are already telling, which is not bad. I mean, you can't go nuts every single week, but it was good. I thought the promo between Roman and Cody Rhodes was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really neat.
Yeah, and I thought the match between Andrade and the guy that everybody loves, that I love too, but I can't think of his name right now. Yeah, that guy.
Beast Mortos? Oh, LA Knight.
Yeah, LA Knight. Thank you. I thought that was a really good match, and just continuing a good, U.S. title reign for the dude.
Yeah,
it's really nice, and having a good Andrade being in a program is always good.
Yeah, just a program. Just give him something to do, man.
Use the dude. Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks that it kind of like it seems like outside looking in, he just has to have like some kind of motivation to turn that shit on, because he's like consistently like does well, and that was kind of his thing in AEW was they wouldn't use him all the time, but whenever they did, it was like, oh shit, it's an Andrade match, and it was 9 times out of 10 it was really fucking good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
he under more direction, he does well.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing whatever he does next, which is probably, like, I would like to see a feud, and I much prefer the feuds where people are like, we're going to clash heads, and perhaps the winner of this feud moves on to like title stuff.
Yeah.
I much prefer that kind of stuff. And it doesn't even have to be like official, but it's like my train stops at the title, but me and you are clashing. We got to figure this out first. Like, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's been kind of a hallmark of the WWE booking style. The last, at least, like definitely the last couple years, but you also saw that kind of starting during the what's it called, during like lockdown,
Yeah.
because they were allowed to kind of do whatever. So you started kind of seeing the makings of that. But yeah, that kind of wrestling storytelling is fucking badass.
Yeah.
Where that is the ultimate goal, but you got these side quests to get there, and that's all that wrestling is. That's all that it should be. Is that's the ultimate thing is get the title, but this motherfucker is pissing me off over here, and I have to deal with that first. Or the silly shit, you like blew up my car or burned my house down or whatever.
Oh,
Or
my Japanese shampoo commercial.
I was about to say that, or a fucking Japanese shampoo commercial like Edge and Booker T.
That one wasn't very
Like,
good, but it
but
makes
still, it still led to like some cool shit. So yeah, you don't want to do that all the time, right? You don't want to oversaturate the fucking shampoo things.
No, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into Japanese shampoo commercials. I mean,
no, not at all. I mean, there's only so many Japanese shampoos that you could sponsor, so that storyline would run its course only because of that reason. But that's some storytelling goodness there that you're talking about. Now, as far as the what's it called, the Roman Reigns and Cody promo, it was cinema, according to the rags. But yeah, it was really nice, like to see that continued like build, and that last line, I forget what the fuck it was that Roman said. What is it? He's like, "You're in my way in life."
And then, holy shit!
Yeah, so that was cool. And
they definitely. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's kind of on the other side of the wrestling is the goofiness and all that stuff. It's like, but wrestling is also that, because wrestling is pretty much every fucking thing, right? So that enhances it. That's part of the variety that wrestling gives, and that's so fucking cool to see them put that much effort, or continue to put that much effort into the storyline.
Yeah, and those two guys are definitely going to put that video clip on their LinkedIn for when they want to like get cast in a movie, because that was definitely like, who can out emote each other.
Yeah,
you got Roman, with like an itch, and then you got like Cody, who's like, he keeps swallowing, but like there's something stuck back there. So, so who can out? Like,
and there's also little bugs like around his like mouth or something in his teeth, because he's always doing the like, especially when a
football field. So
it could be that, but that was a rad little showdown, cool little next step. But now like question is like, all right, who else is coming in? Like, where are we going next with this? Like, or I mean, that shouldn't be the expectation, but that is the expectation. Is who the fuck else is gonna walk into the storyline?
Yeah, that's gonna be really fun to see who's next, because the very last person that's next, like the very last one, is gonna be The Rock.
Yeah,
and that'll be, crazy.
Yeah, and
totally expected. Obviously, everybody's waiting for it, but when it finally happens, everybody's gonna be like, "Finally, this is gonna be so cool."
Yeah,
like we've reached Infinity War.
That's true. The fucking final boss, he needs to come back, in order for it to be complete. But I'm kind of hoping that, even though I start to bitch once it gets oversaturated with The Rock, but I'd like to see him come back to start this thing a lot sooner than later. Like, not Royal Rumble time, and then just for the WrestleMania season, like, make people really buy into it. It's like, nah, this motherfucker's coming back right now. He wants his shit settled right now, but it's not going to be settled until WrestleMania or some shit. Whatever the final nail is.
I mean, he's got to wrestle before Mania.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is, like, don't start it at like the Rumble, and then he's gonna wrestle in February or whatever at that pay-per-view, and then next month at Mania, like, start off from this year going into next year.
Yeah,
Just so it's not like the typical shit that they do. I just want different. That's it. But speaking of WrestleMania, maybe, possibly, the Lucha Bros get a WrestleMania moment because there's those rumors abounding that the Lucha Bros may be going to WWE, and I'm feeling that that's a stinky poo caca bullshit for you, my friend.
No me gusta. No, I don't like it. No matter how cool WWE is, so cool right now, right? But you know, you the Mexicans, man, they're not gonna do nothing with those guys. No matter how cool the skeleton ninja costume is, they're not gonna, they have what are they doing with Dragon Lee?
He's
Not.
around. He's around.
I mean, he's around, yeah. And I'm not even like, full disclosure, when I say you being used and when I say words like a push, I don't mean belts or titles or championships. I don't mean any of that. I mean, like, are they going to use them? Are they going to let them cut promos? Yeah. Are they going to do vignettes? Are they going to do like backstage stuff with them? Are they going to like use them?
The side quest storylines.
Do their matches get a commercial break? Like that kind of stuff. And I've only been watching wrestling since like forever, and I see what they do with the Mexican guys. So like, not everybody can be Eddie or Ray, Yeah. In fact, only Eddie and Ray are Eddie and Ray. So, but they're like, oh, Dragon Lee is the next Ray. Well, no, he's not, because like Ray's right there. So they're using Ray, as they should, because Ray's awesome.
Yeah.
And you have to have like a certain, I don't know, man, like. They just don't get it. WWE guys, the people in charge just don't know how to use, for the most part, like, not white dudes. So AEW is not even that much better because they're letting them go after.
Yeah, that dude, that's the only time that I've been an annoying internet wrestling fan troll, is whenever I see them or whenever I would see AEW promoting their big shows, and you have no Penta and fucking Phoenix on the poster, or they're like super chiquito, and it's like, bro, like they're one of the biggest fucking reasons why I wanted to buy into AEW and I wanted it to succeed, because I was like, I need those motherfuckers to have a badass platform because they deserve it. They're fucking chingon. And not to take away from what they were, set up to do, which like win the tag titles, trios titles, and all that. But it's just they were just very inconsistent. I know that they got hurt a couple times, but I thought that they were hurt all the fucking time because of how inconsistent their booking was. So at the same time that I don't want to see them go to a place that I don't think that they're going to be, their wrestling talent that I fucking love is going to be utilized the way that I like to see it. I understand why they're like, fuck it, man. We're getting older. We did all this shit. We're chasing the bag now. And, let's not lie to ourselves. WrestleMania is kind of the, even though it shouldn't be, but it kind of is. Like that's the biggest stage for wrestling, and that's where you want to be spotlighted the most. And I think they kind of deserve that, even if I don't want them to fucking go. Like, yeah. I think that they deserve to have that crowning achievement. And one last thing, like thinking forward, representation in Mexico, man, like a possible WrestleMania in Mexico, like that would be fucking huge, So I know that's absolutely got to be what they're thinking about too, with the signing as well. Is that fuck, man? Like this gives us more firepower, but man.
But it takes more than just having them on the roster,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like they didn't use Nakamura and then, oh, we're in Japan, let's use Nakamura.
Yeah.
Like it feels disingenuous and it feels cheap to me, especially when like WrestleMania was so cool, but then you think about who was used where, and they had what I call the "Oops, all Mexicans" match, You know, where it's like Legado versus the LWO, which, to quote a wrestler named Tiger Pants, as we were talking about this backstage at our Slam Portal show, why is Ray in charge of the LWO? Why is he in charge of the LWO? It makes no sense.
No,
Now he could be leader of a faction, yeah, but why the LWO? It makes no sense.
No, it makes perfect wrestling sense. See, because Ray and Eddie, they were best friends, and so Eddie, I'm sure he told all of his secrets and even the LWO secrets to Eddie, or to Ray. I mean,
the LWO secrets.
So,
like here's how to barely get on WrestleMania.
Here's how.
If we're all together, they could throw us in a multi-man match.
Here's how me, El Dandy, and Silver King did it. What's it called?
But
I feel you know. Yeah,
and it's kind of like what they if their time is done in AEW, you look at it and you say, when was it? Was it 3 years ago? The all out. They had their peak 3 years ago, which was the tag titles. But if they're not going for the titles, the people in charge don't book them for shit.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's what I was talking
again,
about.
Like I hate that push equals belt to people. I hate it. Push equals belt. That's bullshit. There's only that's why AEW has a crap load of belts, in my opinion, because they think that you have to have a belt to be pushed. So if you're not going for a title, you just stick them in multi-man matches, or you just don't do crap with them, which sucks. You know, a case of people feuding, and it has nothing to do with a belt, other than once I get you out of my way, maybe I'll go for a belt. Is Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
So cool what they're doing right now. They're using special effects prop cars and crap, you know. I mean, for the little sparks that they did with the car, you know.
Yeah.
I hope that was a prop stuff. If not, that's fucking dangerous. Like, oh, they got electrocuted because they squished a Tesla.
Fucking right.
Yeah, it was like the stuff they're doing is super cool. And other than that one thing, like, it doesn't have anything to do with the title. Yet it's being promoted as like a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing that. They did that King Kong Godzilla video package, which was that is reserved for Stone Cold versus Undertaker Highway to Hell, you know?
Yeah.
But no, they did it for them, and there's no belt on the line. It's just a really cool thing that people want to see.
Yeah, and that's when you have your most success and the best like wrestling to watch is whenever everybody's fucking doing something, everybody's in the mix, and everybody means something. It's kind of like the way we used to watch golden era WWE, like the 80s era. You know, everybody had like a gimmick, a very distinct one, and no, everybody wasn't winning all the time, but you saw these motherfuckers all the time. You know, it didn't matter who it was, and you were seeing these characters every fucking time you saw the show, or most times you saw the show, and you got to know them, you got to remember them, and not everybody won a belt. How many times did fucking Jake the Snake Roberts win a belt?
Nobody won belts in the 80s.
Nobody did.
Nobody.
Yeah.
It was if you're lucky enough, you win the IC title, but that's it.
Yeah.
But they pushed storylines, which is good. But how can you not do anything? How can you not do something, let alone something cool, with a skeleton ninja?
Zombie.
Come on. Yeah, zombie skeleton ninja.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I have little faith that they'll do them justice in WWE, but because of that fact that you do have a fucking skeleton ninja zombie motherfucker, maybe it's just gonna give them, more shit to play with.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to like be, I don't know what the word is, hyperbolic, or I don't want to be like blow too much smoke up his ass, but if it with this gimmick that he has, without like the look, with his look, if Penta wasn't a Mexican dude, they would be like, holy crap, this is our new Bray Wyatt, or this is our new Undertaker, just based on the looks alone, because he looks so amazing, he looks so awesome. But no, it's like, oh, he's a lucha guy, they're gonna just focus on that and put him in multi-matches and stuff.
Well, that's what's going to set him apart, though, because everybody else, I mean, those are just Lucha guys. Ray and Phoenix, or Ray Phoenix and Penta, they're Lucha Bros.
Ah.
Eh? So I,
I don't even have to think about what you mean. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. That works.
Just,
that works.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Speaking of Phoenix, so like
retweet
that. Hit send tweet, like and subscribe. But Phoenix in WWE, I hope they give him fucking time to make some magic with folks.
Yeah. I hope their finishers are good though, because they can't use their finishers. They're both pile drivers.
Mm-mm. They're gonna use another
Crossroads
Crossroads variation. Yep, you knew where I was going with that. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Let's see. Speaking of Crossroads, no, just kidding. I actually made a list of things to talk about today, so I'm actually quite happy with myself. But we're gonna keep it with WWE though. Talking about CM Punk. The only thing I wanted to bring up on that is when he did that promo. I think it was last week's Raw. The second Raw of September. But he did that promo where he was talking about how Drew McIntyre like whooped his ass and sent him to the hospital. Tell me why CM Punk in that promo, he sounded like fucking Dale Gribble from King of the Hill. He sounded like Dale whenever Peggy was the sex ed teacher substitute.
You don't know who I am,
but I know where you live. He sounded just like that, and he was like, 2 weeks ago, Drew sent me to the hospital.
Maybe he's low-key auditioning for the King of the Hill reboot or revival.
Oh, shit. That's
the actor who played Dale Gribble
he passed. Damn, maybe. You never know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I heard that, and I thought it was pretty funny. Like, I wasn't watching. I was doing something else, and I heard that shit. I was like, Dale? I'm like, damn it, Dale.
Him and McIntyre, mainly Punk, but like they talked about Hell in the Cell this past couple weeks as if it was like the most dangerous thing in the world. And they haven't talked about the Hell in the Cell like that since like 1999, you know? Even though it's mostly been like, we hate each other, so we hate each other so much that we have to do it in the cell. But this time they're like, look, the cell itself is really fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, and that's old school talk, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, they've done a really, really good job of building up that match. And I mean, not just now, just through everything they've done, even through Punk's injury and everything. Like, man, they definitely
they didn't need a belt. They don't need a belt for this.
No, not at all. And I was so glad that, you know, part of it was Drew like winning and then immediately losing a fucking belt. And that's one that stays in the same course of that's what it's all about, is winning the title. You know, Punk's there to prove that he can still do it, and Drew's just there to be like, fuck you, I'm the guy. But yeah, so it's one of those where it's a side quest, but it's a fucking blood feud. And after All Out, you know, that brutality, it's going to be hard to top it. But I think, I don't want to say I think they will, but I think it's going to be close to that same level, but without all the extra tools and shit.
Yeah, if they top it, they'll top it with emotion and storytelling.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what I was trying to say. Yep.
Like they don't have to do all that, all the blood and the guts.
It'll be just as impressive an exclamation point on the feud as the other was. Yeah.
Like watching an R-rated R super bloody movie like John Wick, you know?
Yeah.
I can enjoy the action in John Wick, but I could also enjoy the climactic fight scene in the original Ninja Turtle movie because it had some cool kicks and all that, but then it was like shitload of emotion, like where's Splinter, you know?
Yeah.
So, and you can enjoy things on certain on similar levels, despite having wildly different content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's one definitely that I'm gonna look forward to watching. Speaking of that brutality, though, the whole Mox and Ryan thing going on.
You were talking about Bryan Danielson versus the shaved chimpanzee known as Jon Moxley.
Yeah, so Mox versus Bryan, where do you think that's gonna go?
I actually think that for once, Mox is going to lose that.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be Mox to put him out to retirement. Well, not even retirement. To take him off the what do you call it, regular roster or whatever? Because
is
Bryan
that still the thing? Because I thought that Danielson said that he had said that he wasn't gonna be on the active roster after the year, but then he changed it to, if I lose the title, like, I'm gonna retire.
Yeah,
I thought that's what he said.
He'll make it more clear the way that I said it later, because there's nothing that's ever going to keep that guy out of the ring ever.
Yeah, that's always been my feeling too.
Wrestle Dream will show up, or all out will all in or all out will show up, and they'll be like, "Man, we need this guy who was our champion, just came off of a big title run, but we don't want to we want to still do something to elevate him. What can we do? Oh, we're gonna bring in Bryan Danielson, you know?"
Yeah.
Like, I doubt he'll ever quit wrestling. And, wrestling once a year, that's the having the cake and eating it too, like that's retirement, that's wrestling retirement as far, so I don't, okay. But the point is that we're just talking semantics at this point, I guess, to knock him out of the being regular roster or whatever, like just to end him, bullet in the back of his head or whatever the fuck. I don't think it's gonna be Jon Moxley. Now, the booker, the people in charge might think it's Jon Moxley because the way they book Jon Moxley is the way they book Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And they might have already put it in their head that Jon Moxley is such a Brock Lesnar that nobody else by comparison should be even able to touch Bryan Danielson, except for Nigel McGuinness, who's been retired for like 50 years and then beats the ever-loving crap out of him in his so awesome, first match back. That was really good. It was cool, though. I don't give a fuck. It was fine. But it's wrestling. But I couldn't tell you who else it would be. So it probably it probably will be. I don't want it to.
Yeah, that's that was my feelings too, is that since before the match I was thinking that, well, even before they did the whole, it's going to be for the contracts or whatever, I thought that, who better than Mox, like not as in like I'm fiercely behind that decision. It's just like you're saying, when you think about it, like who is there that could do it. And yeah, and the way that they're booking him, they're kind of reminding you that, yeah, Mox he's the ace, he's like the AEW guy, like he is AEW. And so I don't think that there's anybody else that it could be. And I also thought or remembered that the original date for Danielson's full-time retirement was going to be Wrestle Dream. I thought that was the original date anyway. So all that stuff just makes me think that, yeah, it's probably going to be Mox. Of course, they're really good at sweeping the rug out and in a cool way and not doing shit that you think they're going to do. Yeah. But all logic dictates that it would be Moxley to take the title. I honestly wouldn't be mad about it, as long as whatever comes after is like logical. Whatever they're doing right now, where they're beefing with Danielson, as long as it makes more sense than right after Danielson's match, Pac and fucking Claudio are right behind the curtain and like nothing's happening. Danielson isn't like, "Oh, you motherfuckers are right there, I'm gonna beat your ass," or the other way around.
Having like this hyping up the super long match between him and McGuinness that has taken decades to happen, and then as soon as it ends, they just cut to the next segment, which was that backstage thing, without any kind of anything between those guys. No, nothing. We're just gonna hear him next week, like, oh yeah, I got beat up by the Clam Digger. Anyway, next match.
That's it.
You know?
On that match though, real quick, I love the end where he had him in the submission and then the bell lock, and then McGinnis, what does he tell him? He says, "Oh," he mouths, "I fucking hate you," and then he taps. And I think Jim Ross said, "Did he say thank you?" Thank you. I think he said thank you.
No, they did not say Boo Earns.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go with this. There's so many cool options to go with because the end result for whatever story they're doing is Christian Cage winning the belt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever end result they're doing. So like, that's what keeps me from getting too up in arms about it. Is that it's going to end with a cool heel champion, Christian Cage with his, with the patriarchy, and he'll cut to more fire promos, which is cool.
Yeah. And we'll see where that one goes. Now, actually, one person that they should give the world title to immediately, even, is famed attorney and bull and half man, half bull, the Beast Mortos, formerly known as Black Taurus.
The stuff he does is super cool. His character is awesome. Visually, it's like nothing anyone else is doing.
Yep.
In America. There's a ton of rubber mask guys in Mexico. More power to them. I don't know how they can do that shit. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, let alone wrestling in a regular mask, but like, you can just imagine like the crevices of that rubber mask is collecting all these pools of gunk in there. Oh, it's like I don't know.
I hope that unlike Rikishi's thong, that he actually washes.
Dear God, yeah. And he has like metal chains hanging from it the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's nuts. I love his moveset. I think if I was him, I would never allow anyone to kick out of the top rope military or top rope body slam that he does.
Dude, that thing is
nobody should
amazing.
Kick out of that. Nobody should kick out of that thing. That's nuts.
Yeah, that and the that, what the fuck is it called? That plancha that he does, the plancha with the hilo.
Oh, it's like a delay hilo.
Yeah,
so it's catching up for everything that he missed. So he goes like this, and then
quickly flips. Yeah, it's so fucking cool. Like to the outside. Yeah, he just runs. He does like a crossbody, and he does a delayed like little flip in midair. It's fucking cool. But yeah, he's been really impressive. I mean, he's been impressive, since the clips and shit from Mexico. But he came over to Impact, to TNA Wrestling.
He had a good run.
Tearing it up there. Yeah, I think that was when you were watching like Pretty Heavy, right?
Yeah, he was in Decay, which was DK was a group that Abyss started after he unmasked, and he just wore like gross goopy face paint on himself and let his hair dangle. So it was like he traded a mask for face paint, so he still looked and he took out his dentures, so he still looked cool. So he started that group, but then he quickly left and became a producer in for SmackDown.
Yeah.
Thanks to AJ Styles, hoping homies helping homies, but Decay kept going on as a group, and Black Taurus was there. And after that, he just he was just wandering around America, GCW and Ring of Honor, and then they signed him.
Yeah, he passed the bar in Mexico and got his license to be an attorney. So for those that are not super wrestling nerds, so
tell that story real quick. I gotta go grab something from my front door.
So go for it. It's drugs, everybody. So was it drugs?
No, it was a new phone, but this assholes. It required a signature. I did not want a stupid signature. I hate it when they do this shit.
Uh,
It's 2024 and I'm here all the time. And they didn't even knock on the door. Motherfucker just went and posted that shit.
what the fuck?
He must be in a hurry or something.
How impersonal.
That was lame.
He's having a day and he didn't want to fuck with anybody today.
Yep.
But yeah, so we were talking about Beast Mortos getting his license to be an attorney.
Oh yes. So not only is he a goat monster, but he's also an avocado.
He's so there's someone let's say, who was it? It's the Wade from fucking
Matt Taven.
Oh
yeah, did you know his mom's Puerto Rican? So there's that.
Oh, word. so wrestler Matt Taven, who's with this group called United Kingdom. United Kingdom teamed up with Beast Mortos, and people were like, "Why does that make how is that logical? Why is he teaming with them?" And so he did this.
And why is he teaming with them also on the Latin Heritage match?
Oh yeah, that's what prompted it. That's right. Yeah. So why is Matt Taven on this? Latin Heritage 6-man tag, I think it was, and so Matt Taven was explaining that he's Puerto Rican, but while he's doing this, he does this whole bit where he reveals that Beast Mortos, that Frank Mortos, helped him out with getting getting out of jail or keeping him out of jail in Mexico. So that's why he was on the team. And then at the end of that is when he says that it's because he's part Puerto Rican. So there's that.
Oh yeah, my mom's Puerto Rican, so there's that.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. But one thing we were talking about too over Messenger is kind of how Beast Mortos is like our modern day D'Lo Brown, which D'Lo has been popping up a lot on my feeds and the different socials. So people are starting to gain some newfound respect, and he's being discovered by a lot of people, which is really awesome because that was a very, very, very underrated run that he had.
Yeah, D'Lo was really good. Back then, I definitely associated pushes with titles, but he could have had longer IC title reigns or longer, and he could have been used more definitely. And there's what happened where he was he accidentally paralyzed Darren Drozdov, which sucked, and that for whatever reason that kind of drifted his use, I guess. He started being used less and less, and but I mean he did have a good run behind the scenes in TNA, or even in ring. He left and he was like the first guy to elevate AJ Styles.
Yeah,
and
they teamed for a bit, right?
Yeah, they teamed and then they feuded.
Yeah.
So, I think he's still backstage in TNA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's what's really cool is that he's stayed active, man. He's been doing shit, this entire time. So that's why I think it's really cool that people are seeing this. It's popping up more and more, and folks are like, "Oh, that's what this guy did," because that was the fucking gimmick that he did in '98 with the chest protector. So D'Lo Brown is this wrestler that he was with the Rock's old group back in the late '90s, the Nation of Domination, and then they just became the Nation. And he was a goofball, kind of a goofball. He'd come out like just kind of swinging his head around and stuff, like a really cocky walk. He'd go up to the corner rope, extend his arms out, and just kind of wiggle his head and talk about, I think you better recognize stuff. So he was just really cool wrestler. He had some badass moves, and he did this gimmick. His pectoral muscle got torn, so he did this gimmick where he had to wear a chest protector, and so he entered his first match back, or the first time he came back from that was a King of the Ring qualifier, I think, right? I think it was like X-Pac or somebody was wrestling.
Maybe Dan Severn?
Was it Severn? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was the Dan Severn. It was his qualifying match, I think. And so he used the chest protector as a weapon, but then it became this thing where he had to use it while he wrestled, so he wouldn't get re-injured. And then, of course, just like Cowboy Bob and Owen Hart and so many others before him, You know how they use their forearm cast. You know, he's used the chest protector as a weapon in every match. But during that, his personality really came out. He had a really cool feud against X-Pac. That was
they traded the belt back and forth. It was really cool.
Yeah, and it was during the time. I think the reason that we remember it so fondly is because, and you know, D'Lo and that feud is because while in WCW they were giving like the cruiserweights and a lot of folks time to wrestle, you didn't really get that in WWF because it was just slam bam, you know, quick matches and stuff for the most part. So they got the most out of the 5 to 7 minutes, you know, that they'd be given, and it was really, really cool to see. And also you had the clash of two personalities that you're just really into, you know.
Yeah.
And it was guys that had really badass styles.
Where like X-Pac and D'Lo Brown were guys like they were bubbling up. They had hype because of their matches, and they were part of cool groups. So they were like, you're seeing something for the first time because you're seeing these two dudes feud for the first time, and it's really cool. And this one guy is doing all these like acrobatic moves that he's at the time too big to be doing, and then you got X-Pac doing all these crazy lucha and Japanese moves. It was really cool.
Yeah, and D'Lo was super innovative. That's one of the coolest things, or that's probably the coolest thing about him is how innovative he was. That frog splash that he did, I remember seeing. I think it was in The Wrestler, a Reckless Youth. They had a full page picture, and Reckless Youth is doing that frog splash. I didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and then you see D'Lo doing it, and it's like, oh, that's what that was. Which shout out to Reckless Youth, the one guy that we never fucked. The mysterious Reckless Youth, the indie darling that we never saw wrestle.
The very first indie darling ever. Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently he teamed with D'Lo in the indies, and I guess that's where that frog splash came from. But there was also the what was it, the Sky High, where it was like they called it they called it a short power bomb, but he just kind of lifted the guy up from the armpits and then just slammed him down and got like a sit out power bomb. That was really cool, and a bunch of other shit. The cool little quick leg drop he'd do. He had that heel kick that he did. So he had a lot of cool shit, and moonsaults, doing fucking moonsaults for a bigger dude, like definitely not something you really saw. Good. So yeah.
And you know, he had his he was definitely smart to emulate certain things, like maybe like a year after the People's Elbow started catching, even less than a year after the People's Elbow started catching, D'Lo's like, well, I'm gonna do my shaky head leg drop, you know. And it worked. It didn't feel, even at the time, it didn't feel like cheap, because I mean it wasn't, but it didn't feel like oh, he's just trying to do like a Rock thing.
Yeah.
It felt natural, especially because he was a member of the Nation.
The Nation, yeah, and he was already like cocky and stuff like that. So it's like, yep, that's something that this guy would do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
speaking of flowers, if I may interject, and we're talking about old school guys, Ken Shamrock is starting to get a couple flowers now, which
yeah, I saw that in the chat. Yeah, that's right. And I've been seeing more stuff pop up about him. Which Shamrock, I have a teenage link from King of the Ring '98, like the memory of that pay-per-view, watching that fucking tape over and over and seeing him win. So Shamrock is definitely one of those that I think fondly back on when seeing him wrestle and stuff. He was cool as shit, man. He was. I liked how he was booked. I thought it was it was
and
consistent.
He ushered in a lot of. Cool. He did a lot for the business that people don't get. People will now start giving him credit for, because I feel like WWE kind of erased him.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like before him, nobody tapped out. After him, submissions became tap outs because of him, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
and that's like an industry, a worldwide thing because it's Ken Shamrock.
Yeah. Right now, Taz is gonna come in. Well, you know, brother, before Ken Shamrock,
sorry,
you had Taz, the human suplex machine.
Sorry, Taz, but Shamrock did it first. Taz helped. I can't diminish Taz. Taz did help that.
It's like, that's better, brother.
But Shamrock was the dude who started that.
Yeah. And his IC title run was cool. It was annoying because it was with the corporation or whatever, but he did a great job, man. He was great to watch. He was a good heel because like I hated him like winning.
Yeah.
But I was also fine with it because it's Ken Shamrock. He's just fucking badass.
His IC title, the win was really cool. I don't really remember the run, but I remember his win was really good. Because like it was like a tournament, right? And he beat X-Pac for it.
Yeah. The
H was like
X-Pac.
He was all beat up, and Triple H was like screaming at X-Pac to keep fighting. It was really cool.
Yeah. That was, and I thought, of course, like they did a great job with that one too. Like you thought X-Pac was actually pull it off.
There was two glimmers of hope, not hope, but two glimmers of like, wow, are they gonna put Shamrock in the main event scene? Which was like he fought Undertaker once, and he was like constantly trying to make Undertaker tap out, even though Undertaker was like in super zombie monster mode.
Yeah.
And then he had a match with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I think that match they had a face-to-face on Sunday Night Heat, and then I think they wrestled on Raw, and it was a really long match. I remember it being really good. But other than that, he didn't really go into the main event scene much.
Yeah, but they kept him around. I mean, he was it at D-Generation X where it was him against Shawn Michaels. Yeah. So they kept him around there. Yeah, but it wasn't. I guess for lack of a better term, like it wasn't anything that was ever too serious,
Yeah.
But he was up there, and he was perfect for the Intercontinental title and stuff. Actually, speaking of titles now and Taz, the FTW title just got retired at Grand Slam. We're recording this the day after AEW Grand Slam. So yeah, it just got retired last night, which it was retired in Queens, and that's where the FTW title originated as well. Now talk about like memories and stuff like that, like seeing those early ECW pay-per-views and FTW title matches. That was something special, man. So it's cool to kind of see that belt, come full circle and everything.
Yeah, it was it was good, and I'm glad it. I don't mean it in a bad way, but I'm glad the title is being retired.
Yeah.
Number one, too many damn titles in AEW. So many titles that I kind of don't care about any of them except for the TBS title and the TNT title and the world title.
The world titles. Yeah.
I care a lot about the women titles because there's only two.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a division that needs more belts, it's the women's. They need at least tag. But anyway,
they need tag titles for sure.
Yeah. But I thought it was good. It's a nice ending to that belt, the belt that they constantly push, yet they say that it's not recognized.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in the video game.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah,
it's not recognized, but it's an official merch and shit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it was a nice father-son moment.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool, and yeah, and I agree, man. It's definitely okay that it's put out to pasture now, and Hook can move on to other things. And speaking of moving on to other things, that concludes this episode of the Real Scraps podcast. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. The next time on the Real Scraps podcast, we're going to be talking comics.
Yeah.
Our comics, other people's comics, maybe your comics. So catch us next time. And be sure to follow us at Real Scraps, at RLST_GRAPS. And Oscar, where can they find you, sir?
5 Meats at 5 Meats. Number 5 Meats.
There you go. And don't forget to go to Amazon and get yourself Mashbone and Grifty Volume 1 Open for Biz, written by Oscar Garza and Rolando Esquivel, and masterfully illustrated by Oscar Garza.
Yeah.
So we'll have links to all that. And thank you guys again for joining us. This is Real Scraps Podcast. Thank you for being here.
Peace.